I get to keep this, right?
Oh, sorry, do it look there then?
All right, let's do this.
And action. Hi, I'm Harry, founder and CEO at Uprise Academy.
So my name is Maria. I'm the head of operations at Uprise.
So my name is Steven. I'm the head of product here at Uprise.
Uprise is a lifelong learning platform and community for the new wave of founders, explorers, misfits. What inspired me to set up Uprise? I think the biggest thing is it actually came from frustration. I would come into the office every day bursting with excitement and energy, listening to Avicii and rave music on my headphones, and then I'd tone it all down, sit down at my computer screen and be told this is just the way life is, while I copied and pasted and did these activities that didn't have any impact, that didn't make me feel alive, that didn't create any kind of change that fit the values I had. And it was that feeling that sparked this whole movement. For me, it was like, there has to be a better way to live life. I rejected that world and I quit and I went traveling the world and I met amazing people who had lived unconventional lives, who had done things worth writing stories about. And the thing I noticed from all of them was that they had the same thing in common, which is a clear sense of purpose and being surrounded by other driven and interesting people for that whole journey. And so for me, starting Uprise was trying to bottle some of that and get them to other people in the world.
Uprise's mission is to create the world's first selective community of change makers to take action together so that they can create remarkable lives for themselves.
My favorite thing about Uprise's mission is that it truly resonates with people at the core of who they are.
You know, complete strangers to come together and talk about, you know, shared purpose, shared meaning, and connect that way.
So the Uprise community is a very interesting one. So we normally describe it as entrepreneurs, explorers, and misfits. People we tend to attract come from a corporate background, discovered that that's not the life they wanted to live, and they're going through a phase of transition.
For us, our community started with in-person events, with 30 amazing young professionals coming together from over 30 different countries, co-living together for 3 months while pivot your career programs in, you know, amazing parts of the world. And to go from that as a brand to not being allowed to travel or even meet up in person, everything changed. We went purely online due to the pandemic.
We didn't have a true online community until then. We did use a different platform for some of our experiments for what we're doing. However, it didn't serve us.
My biggest frustrations with using social media to build a community was that most social media platforms are also used privately, which means that whenever we would send people notifications, they wouldn't really see them because they would compete with a message from a friend or a notification from their mom posting a new update. And you pay the price for that when you're really trying to build a community through social media.
How can we bring meaningful conversations and effective collaborations to entrepreneurial people all across the world? How do we get that happening online? And that's where Disciple really helped us as a business, so that we actually have a platform that's constantly growing and changing as our member base grows. And that's been key in hitting our business metrics of becoming a business that sells, you know, education to consumers in a subscription model now.
Running a subscription-based business is, you know, tremendously difficult sometimes. What's really helpful with Disciple is that it allows you to basically change the membership type for each of your member, but it also shows you what your members engage most with within Disciple. It kind of cuts out from our end that extra step to go and search for feedback from our members, because it's already at the back end.
The features I personally like the most are definitely the direct messaging that works on web and iOS, Android phone, because that's where people interact. And like I said, it's about good conversations. So that's the most direct way people can actually interact. I think the second thing is the micro communities, as I mentioned. Like, I think as your community grows, it probably gets to a size where People don't know each other anymore. And I think you tackle that by creating micro communities within your bigger community. So the fact that I can do that, for me, is super important.
There are thousands of communities out there, right? Why is it that yours stands out? What is the vision you have, the purpose you feel, that you can shout through that community so you draw those people like you into that community? What we've found with Disciple especially is if you have that clarity, it's a place where they can really customize the environment, the virtual kind of space to meet those needs and those demands. So that's my best advice.
So to anyone building a community, my advice would be to keep it focused on the human interaction. I think there's so many community platforms out there, or people building communities for that matter, that say that they've built a community, but really what they've done is build a collection of individuals. Keep in mind that the end goal is to help people have better conversations or connect to each other.
You know, we have a community of people from all around the world that meet online every day, do workshops together, do sprints, marathons, all the things that we do within our collective. And yeah, I think create more of that and make it as real as possible, although it's online.
And so now what we've become is an online space as well as an offline space, and the community's changed with that. It's become more mature. The age range has increased because now we can be accessed by people who have busy jobs, who have families as well, which is super exciting. It's become more accessible in that we have people from lower incomes who are able to come in on merit of who they are rather than being able to afford an in-person experience fee.
I mean, we have a community of amazing people running at the moment, and we wouldn't have been able to do this without Disciple, obviously. To have this space where we can run all of our ideas and allow the people within our community to really try to explore what's meaningful and full of purpose to them.
Disciple has made my life as a community manager a lot easier, especially because they have a front and a back end. So on the back end, I can do everything that needs to be done. My member management, I can change the outlook of the platform itself, which is very useful, and I can integrate even other apps into it. And I think on the more front end side, what it's allowed me to do is really turn it into the gateway to everything we have to offer. And by being an all-encompassing app, we can do everything we do as Uprise through one platform. And that just makes our lives so much easier than having to manage 5 different platforms and 5 different communication channels to our customers.
What Disciple does really well is they listen to you as a community builder. They understand that you're the core of what they're building, but also, you know, we're almost their community the same way as we treat our community as a community builder, you know, and we treat each of our members as the heroes of our journey. I think Disciple are doing the same with us. So that's a big deal for us. They understand the journey we're going on. They're very adaptable, they're very human, and they listen to our feedback, and they've been able to, and we've been able to together, I would say, model and mold a platform around the needs of our users in a way that wouldn't have been possible with other platforms. And that for us is extremely important.
We're so excited to bring you another panel discussion on a topic which is close to my heart, which is all about community-based marketing. And as Nicola said, why it should be your next priority. So we have 3 amazing community experts that are coming to join us today. So I'd like to welcome up to our virtual stage, Marsha Druker, Erika Gayle, and Pooja Kanabar. So please turn on your videos, pop on your microphones, and we shall get started. Hello, ladies, welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
So before we get started, I would love for you to just give a quick introduction to who you are, what you do. So Marsha, if you'd like to start.
Yeah, for sure. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Marsha Druker, and I've been doing community for a long time. I completely fell into it and fell in love with it, I think like a lot of people here. So I run a community called Fuck Up Nights Toronto. It's not about swearing or bad words. It's all about sharing stories of professional failure and lessons learned. So that's a community that I host. I also host a podcast called Create Community, where I chat with other incredible community professionals to learn about their journeys and what community means to them. And for my day job, I'm a field marketing manager at Bevy, which is a community event engine for virtual, hybrid, and in-person events. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Thank you, Marsha. You certainly are busy on a daily basis, huh?
For sure.
All right, moving on to Erika. Would you like to tell us a little bit about you?
Yeah, hello, I'm Erika Gayle. I run a community called the Babes Club. It originally started out as a community for my boudoir photography. I'm a photographer first and foremost, and that sort of just exploded into this amazing community that we have now. I still shoot boudoir, so that's still like the main part of my business, but running this app and everything is definitely started taking the forefront in our business, and we're really excited to kind of see where that goes.
Thank you. And I also want to mention that your community is on Disciple. A little bit
It
of a
is,
plug
yes.
there. So we're so grateful for you to come and join us on this panel today. And lastly, Pooja, who is part of the Disciple team, tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi everyone, so I'm Pooja and I'm the content manager here at Disciple. I'm the face behind your emails and your blog posts and the guides that you've been downloading. And I've got over 10 years experience in global marketing across education, personal development and tech as well.
Great, thank you so much. So we have a very diverse panel today of amazing people, and we're going to be talking about community-based marketing. But before we start, I do want to let you know that we do have a special giveaway for this panel discussion. If you ask the panel a question today, use the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen, one of you will win a one-on-one strategy session with Marsha. So if you have a question throughout, pop it in there. At the end of the discussion, we'll get to questions, and yeah, we'll see if we can get someone winning that session. So let's get started. We have some questions here. So the first question, this is to everybody. 1,000 True Fans by Kevin Kelly centers around the concept that in order to make a living, you need only 1,000 fans, aka your community-based marketing force. When you hear the term community-based marketing, what comes to mind? Erika, would you like to start us off?
Yeah, sure. So for me, community-based marketing, what comes to mind is that I find that my community does a lot of the marketing for me, so I don't have to work as hard as far as like trying to get new clients and stuff, especially for my boudoir photography. I haven't run ads in probably 2 years because all of my referrals for all of that just comes directly from my community, which is really awesome. And the people in there feel like they know me. So when they actually come in for their sessions and everything, they're like, oh, you're like my best friend. And because like we've already been chatting in our community and everything. So I really enjoy that, I don't have to really push as hard, I feel, to find new people to photograph or to join our community and everything, because everybody in the community kind of already does it for me, because they're like, oh, have you heard about the Babes Club? You should join. It's awesome. And then people join and they're like, wow, I'm going to invite my friends. So it's kind of like a bit of a reaction, which is really nice.
Yeah, I love that. And it certainly makes your work, you have less work when you've got your community doing the marketing for you, right? That's one of those check boxes that done. So I love that as well. Pooja, what do you think, coming from your background?
Yeah, so for me, community-based marketing, it's about leveraging the power of connection and building a business with your audience instead of building a business that talks at them. And I feel like when you include your audience in your business journey, you're demonstrating that you value their opinions, that you want to cater to their needs, that you see and hear them. And that's what makes them feel special and inspires that connection and loyalty that really makes your business grow.
I love that. That's such a great answer. I wonder if Marsha, if you've got anything to add to that.
It's hard to add to that. I feel like those are such great points. I think for me also, the meaning of community-based marketing is really like co-creating with your community, really listening to them. An example that jumps to mind, I think, of a brand that has done this absolutely brilliantly is Glossier. I think, most people know that it started out as a blog called Into the Gloss. And from there, the customers were able, the future customers were able to chat about the challenges that they were having with traditional beauty brands. And through listening to those people, that's where Glossier was kind of born and created solutions to meet those challenges that came directly from their community. So yeah, I think just really listening is what defines it for me, listening and co-creating.
Perfect, thank you. And if anybody else that's at this event has some other thoughts on that, pop them in the chat. We would love to know what comes to mind when you think of the term community-based marketing. All right, moving on. This question is specifically for you, Pooja. So Nicolette mentioned at a recent event where she spoke about this topic, actually, that community makes marketing exciting. What do you find most exciting about your role in marketing in a company that helps others build community?
So for me personally, it's so much deeper than writing blog posts or sending out emails. My core driver is the joy that I get from knowing that I'm a small part of something that is genuinely creating a positive impact in the world. We have so many different communities and they're all achieving so many amazing things, whether it's a hobbyist community, a wellness one, or coaching one. And the motto for a lot of them is that change happens together. And I definitely find that really inspiring to see. And it makes me want to then create content that's going to help those communities to make even more of an impact. And without sounding too cheesy, make the world a better place.
No, definitely. I completely agree. It's almost like you're inspiring them, but they're also inspiring you at the same time to create that content to inspire them. I mean, it just keeps going around in a circle, right?
Totally, absolutely.
Perfect. Well, we're going to move on. So next, I've got a question for Erika. Now, how important is it to be unique in marketing your community and what one golden nugget has really worked for you in growing the Bays Club? I know you mentioned something in the beginning with the community-based marketing. Oh my God, I'm losing my words. But let us know.
Yeah, so I think one of the golden nuggets that I would share is when you're building your community, especially if you're just getting started, it's really important to be present and active in your community. You can't just start like a Facebook group or like an app on Disciple and expect people to just join and just start talking. You have to kind of like coax them a little bit and maybe train them a bit as far as like what is expected from them in the community. So being present and active is definitely a really important part of that. And then again, like I said earlier, it lets your community kind of get to know you a little bit, and it makes them feel like you're more approachable, that you're more like a person, because people really like to interact with people versus businesses. Like if you go to like, you know, Walmart's like Facebook page or something, you feel like you're interacting with Walmart, whereas like, you know, you join like a community, you're interacting with people and you're interacting with the people in those businesses. And I think clients and customers really appreciate feeling like they're being heard. So, and then people like really like feeling like connected to others and stuff like that. So I think that's part of the reason why community-based marketing is so good, I guess.
No, completely. And I think it's all about building relationships. And I completely like agree with you in that a lot of people do think that you can just build a community and overnight it's just going to suddenly be this really engaging, interactive place. And it takes a lot of work to really nurture your members to post, to comment, to like. And it is one of these, well, someone said to me once, like building a community is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And for me, it's a marathon that never ends because you continually have to keep being in your community, being present, as you say, and just getting to know people. And I mentioned this a lot in the content that we put in the collective, in the community building course, that, you know, you just have to be in there getting to know people so that you can foster those connections with others, create content for them, and just really understand what they want and what they need. So yeah, completely agree with you on that one. Okay, so Marsha, it's time for your question. Digital marketing has soared over the years, and I, for one, am completely overwhelmed with what I would call like the noise of the social platforms in particular. Have you felt the same, and how have you overcome this as someone who works in this area on a daily basis?
Yeah, I've definitely felt the same. I think especially, you know, since the first lockdown started with COVID, I think community is a word that just started soaring and has really started becoming a buzzword as part of sort of the digital marketing buzz that has been going around. And it's actually been a little bit of a pet peeve of mine. I think that a lot of people have been just jumping on the bandwagon of community without really understanding what it actually means. defining their audience as a community, defining something like an email list or their Instagram following as a community. So that's something that kind of jumps out at me. Something that I've done to, I guess, overcome it, or something to create more conversation around it, is start my podcast, Create Community, where I chat with community professionals to define what community actually means to them. And something that has really come up as a theme throughout a lot of these interviews that I've done with folks working across tech, all the way to people running things like Burning Man and other independent sort of communities, is that authenticity and vulnerability are really key to growing a community. Like, you can't have a community without trust. And you know, that's something that's really going to show through, and that's what's going to set the best communities apart. And I think the best businesses and the best brands, you know, the community is the thing that's going to be their competitive differentiation. And that's something that other people can't really copy. You know, you can copy features, content, whatever it may be, but the community is going to be the thing that's going to really set you apart.
Yes, for sure. And I tell that to people all the time, because a lot of people worried that others are going to copy your ideas, copy anything that's in your community. And of course they can, but they're not going to be able to copy you. And you're the person that makes that community unique. That's the reason why it does so well. So yeah, no, that's really great that you've said that. And actually, on the Create Community podcast, I have been interviewed. So you can check out our interview with me and Marsha, but she's interviewed so many great people in the industry. It's really worth a listen, just to find out how everyone else is doing. Okay. Now, I'm going back to you, Pooja, with another question. What can entrepreneurs do to elevate their marketing efforts, be more authentic, and gain the trust and loyalty they need from new and existing audiences and members? This kind of goes into what Marsha just said. So what do you think?
Yeah, so exactly, just to echo what Marsha said, and you, Valentina, as well, as the first thing is, you know, don't try to be something that you're not, or copy what other people are doing, because people are going to see through that. Be true to who you are, what your community truly stands for. And like you rightly said, the one thing that your competitors can't ever compete with is your unique qualities and your personality. And that's what people are really buying into when they choose to join your community. It's also really important to continually revisit your mission. Take the time to explore the pain points and the needs of your members. Are they the same as when you started your community, or have they changed? So don't be afraid to keep revisiting that and just sense checking where your members are at, so that you can adapt your activity accordingly. And also, when you're doing that, you're showing your members that you genuinely care and value their opinion, and you're wanting to serve them with valuable content, and that's what's going to keep them coming back for more. And again, to touch on what you said, Marsha, you know, my final point is definitely about the power of authenticity. There's definitely a time and place for polished content, but more than the perfect content or images, what people really want to see every now and then is the messy parts of you. So they want to know that you're a human who's faced the same struggles or the same fears at some point that they're now facing. And when you're allowing yourself to be fully transparent and real and vulnerable with them, you're humanizing your business, and you're giving your members the permission to feel safe doing the same. And that's what wins their trust.
Yeah, no, that is totally right. And, you know, I was just thinking as you was talking about that, how important it is to get feedback from your community, because if you're not asking people what they want, what they like, what they don't like, how are you bringing value to them? Are you bringing value to them? And if that's not going to bring people back, how are they then going to go out and promote your community to bring other people in? So for anybody that's listening to me now, think to yourself, when was the last time that you asked your community for feedback on what you've done or what you're currently doing? Maybe it's time to look into that, because they'll be very honest with you about what's working and what isn't. So have a think about it and ask for some feedback and see where you can go from there. Now, I do want to mention, as we're all like halfway through our panel, I can see some questions in the chat and I can see some questions in the Q&A. If I can ask, if you have any questions, pop them in the Q&A tab that's at the bottom of your screen, because there's a lot going on in the chat and I don't want to miss your questions, because we have got a giveaway. Marsha is giving away a one-on-one strategy session with her. So make sure you get those questions in the Q&A box for me, please. Okay. Next question then, this is for you, Erika. Super member and ambassador programs are great strategies to use to help with your community-based marketing. Why do you think this is?
Well, I think it gives people an incentive to check in with the community. So I've been running, I call a top contributor contest in my Facebook group for the last maybe year and a half, 2 years. And that has really helped bolster the engagement that I get in my group. Obviously, as a lot of you know who run Facebook groups, it is a constant battle against the algorithm, which is why I love my Disciple community so much. I don't have to fight the algorithm anymore. But so I've transferred the top contributor contest over to the app at this point because I want to get everyone over there. And that encourages people to, check in every day. Basically, how it works is you get points, and you can see this in the back panel of both groups and in the Disciple app itself of how much people have been commenting or liking and stuff on posts and making their own posts and everything like that. So I take those statistics and then I transfer that over into my top contributor contest. So every month, the top 10 people in the community have a chance of winning a prize. So I have a bunch of prizes. We have an online store. So I have merch that people can choose from, some other things. I've given away Kate Spade wallets in the past, because who doesn't like a fancy new designer wallet? So it just incentivizes people to be active in the community and encourages them to make the habit of commenting, making their own posts and stuff like that. Because like I said earlier, if you can't just make a community and expect people to engage in it and to make their own posts and everything like that. So it is a way to kind of encourage people to engage in the community. And by doing that, that also encourages other people to engage, because they're seeing posts from all of the other members and not just, you or your other admins or anything like that. So yeah, it definitely encourages them to participate. And I think it's a good strategy for any community. It doesn't matter where you're hosting the community. I think the top contributor contest is definitely a really easy way to bolster engagement and make your community active.
Yeah, no, definitely. And everyone loves to be recognized, right? Everyone likes to have a thank you and recognize that you've, done one post or 100 posts, So I love that you're doing that recurringly as a tradition and ritual, so that if you don't get on the list one month, you can work to get on the list the next month, which is really something that I love. And people love consistency in the community. I go on and on about it all the time. So if you miss 1 month, you can get in for the next month. I just think it's amazing.
I think some people actually get really intense with the contest too, I've noticed. I've had I'll post updates every so often. I'll be like, this week is where the rankings are and everything, and people they'll tag each other and be like, I'm gonna get you next time, and I'm like, whoa, you guys need to chill.
It's getting intense.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how it's working, right? When people are really getting into it, that means they're coming back, they're enjoying the initiative that you've created, and it's something that's fun for them. Which being online, sometimes people can take content and initiatives in different ways, but make it fun. Everyone loves fun, right?
Everyone loves a competition.
Definitely. I'm very competitive.
Yeah.
Okay, back to you, Marsha. What marketing trends have you seen so far in 2021 that community builders should consider implementing going forward? I know there's probably so many, but any in particular?
Yeah, I think there's one that jumps out. I think hybrid events are kind of top of mind for everybody. It's the buzzword that we're all hearing right now. And I don't think anybody has the true definition of it. I think everybody's just experimenting and trying things out with these events. But something that I found really insightful from one of the panels that I hosted before, one of the panelists shared her thoughts around these hybrid events, and that a lot of people are being sort of pigeonholed into thinking that a hybrid event has to be simultaneous. You have to have a big conference or something happening online, and at the exact same time, you need something in person for it to count as a hybrid event. really the way that you could be thinking about hybrid events and the hybrid way forward is really catering it to different regions and thinking about where can you do something online, where does it make the most sense to do something big online, and where is it possible to do something in person, and how do you create a calendar of these types of events to keep the community engaged after one big conference. Where do you do smaller in-person things? Where do you follow up with another online event going more niche into a topic? I think that's a really interesting way of looking at it, that it doesn't have to be happening simultaneously.
Yeah, no, and actually, I'm not going to give anything away, but something that you mentioned in what you just said is something that we're actually going to be doing, but you're going to have to wait till the end of the harvest to find out about that.
That's exciting.
It's very exciting. I'm loving hybrid. I mean, I'm a big in-person event person, and it's been hard for me over the last year to go online. But now having the option to do one or the other or both or a combination of those, I mean, there's just so many possibilities. So if you are hosting events or you haven't hosted events in your community, have a think about what you can do to bring your members together, even if it's for something small like a networking event, just to get to know each other outside of typing in posts and comments. It's something to think about, and again, a lot of fun for your community. Okay, we are wrapping up, so we have one last question for all of you. What one piece of advice would you give to those listening today that they can put into action straight after this event to help market and grow their communities? Pooja, I'd like you to go first.
Okay, so for me, it's personally making sure you're constantly taking it back to the grassroots of why you created your community. What problem is it solving? How is it benefiting others? And sharing that story and your members' stories as well on every channel possible to reinforce the value that you're offering. And there's so many different ways that you can do this. Don't feel like you have to keep creating fresh content. Instead, just notice what hooks and angles are working best with your audience and roll that content out in different formats. So it could be a blog post, it could be a podcast, it could be a video, a reel, it could be an email story. There's so many different ways that you can leverage that. And you can also ask your super members to do the same and spread the message about their journey since they've joined your community. Or you could create a referral scheme for them to invite others who would benefit from your community as well. So those are all key ways that you can put things into action straight away.
Yeah, so many options there to think about. I mean, I'm sure everyone listening has got so much content already that they could use to put in various different avenues. So love that. Okay, Marsha, what about you?
So a piece of advice that I want to share about community-based marketing is, especially when you're starting out, to really try to niche down as much as possible. So for example, if you're thinking of starting a course about digital marketing, think about who this digital marketing course is for. So an example that I know of one is a digital marketing course specifically for co-working spaces. How can you niche it down even more? What about independent co-working spaces that are targeting creative entrepreneurs? So I think that's a big thing with community. When you're just starting out, I think a lot of people kind of try to build a massive community and do it from day one and kind of try to reach everybody. But for it to be really successful, people need to have something in common. And when you start out, you really want it to be as niche down as possible.
Yeah, I love that. Start small and then expand from there as things grow. And that's the same with building communities. Absolutely. A lot of people would say, start small, start simple. Although you have these huge ideas, trust me, it's better to start small. And last but not least, Erika.
Yeah, so I guess this is kind of adding on to what Pooja and Marsha already said, but just get started, I think, is probably my best advice. I find that, at least for myself, and I'm sure other entrepreneurs can probably relate, I feel like I just get paralyzed by getting started on a project. So, and when you're starting like a new community and trying to do the community-based marketing, it can seem really daunting at first. So just diving right in is, I guess, the best way to get started, I think. It's going to take time to grow, and that's not going to happen overnight. So just, start your app on Disciple or start your Facebook group or wherever you're going to host your community, and just start inviting, your best fans. You probably, if you have a business, you probably already have, a little bit of a fan base or a client base. So start there. start small, invite your friends, and then just encourage people to invite their friends. And then that's how you can kind of get the ball rolling on there. I would also really recommend pre-scheduling posts, because I think that that is the biggest time sink in running a community, is just scheduling all the content and everything. So definitely schedule everything as far in advance as you can. I usually do about a week or two, because then that gives me a little bit of time to actually be active in the community and not worrying so much about content going out and stuff like that. And then I think it was Pooja mentioned something about a referral program. So I definitely recommend starting a referral program as well. There are ways to do that within like Disciple's backend. You can like create referral codes for people, which is really great, because you can like track how many people have actually clicked the link and how many people have actually signed up with that link. So I've created a little bit of a referral program in my community in the app. So if people get like a certain amount of people invited and like a paid subscription, then they get like merch or like gift cards or whatever. So that kind of incentivizes people to invite their friends, and that will help your community grow too. So again, just really starting small and then just kind of growing from there, because like I said, it's not going to happen overnight. I've been running my community for 4 years now, and I have 5,000 people on Facebook. So it took 4 years to get there. It did not happen overnight. So don't expect that it's going to blow up immediately. Just give yourself a little bit of patience, because it's going to take some time, but it's definitely worth the effort. Because I don't pay for ads. So, I mean, who wouldn't like that?
Thank you. Amazing insights and answers from all three of you. Thank you so much. We've got some time for some questions. So I'm going to go to the Q&A area. If you haven't popped your question in there, add it in there now, and I'll choose a few questions to ask. So let's go with question from Rachel. What's the most critical and first thing someone should tackle when building a community and community marketing strategy from scratch, aka 0 members of the community? Marsha, would you like to jump in on that one?
Sure. I think, at the beginning of building a community, I think you really have to get in there and really do it almost on an individual basis by starting to recruit people to it. I think one of the best things that you could do at the beginning before you have any members is be really intentional about what kind of members you want to bring in, and find ways to connect with them and chat with them about the challenges that they're having and what they would be looking for in a community. Would they be interested in the type of community that you're starting? And what kind of topics, things are they interested in participating in this type of community? I think that's a really important step, and that's how you start to really curate your community. You also want to keep diversity and inclusion at the forefront right from the beginning. It's a lot harder to go back to it afterwards. So as you shape your community and as you bring more people into it, I think if you start with that at the beginning, it's going to be a lot more natural and a lot easier to create a diverse community. So yeah, I would say those two things for the beginning, for just starting out and just realizing like how hands-on it is and how individual it is at the beginning to start building it. It was definitely like that for Fuck Up Nights, which is now a massive community in Toronto. But at the beginning, for that first event, I reached out, like literally I sat on LinkedIn and on my Facebook, and one by one, I reached out to people who I thought should come to that first event.
Great. No, those are really good tips. Thank you so much, Marsha. All right, next question is from Brandon. And Erika, I'd love for you to answer this one. How do you encourage a new audience to use and pay to use a new platform when they're used to the convenience of places such as Facebook?
Yes, that's an excellent question. And that is something that I really struggled with at first as well when I switched over to using Disciple. I think it's really important to have content that is available only in your app as kind of an incentive to come over to the app, especially if it's a paid platform. People are so used to having everything available to them for free in the Facebook groups. So having specific content that is only available inside the app has definitely been a huge bonus for us. I have a self-talk workbook that's available in my app. We also sell it on our store, but I mean, why would you buy it on the store when you can get it for free included with your membership? So that's one of the things that we have available that is only available kind of in the app as an extra bonus. And what else? Oh, I'm lost a train of thought there. What was the question again? Sorry, Valentina.
I've actually forgotten the question too because we answered it live. Hold on.
Oh, encouraging people to join.
Here.
Right.
It's here.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, to kind of encourage people to join there. And also one of the things that I kind of really pushed in my community on Facebook and stuff is that, first of all, there's no ads in the app, which is really nice. We're also not fighting with the algorithm. So I really I pose that as sort of an added bonus to the app, is where you're not like scrolling through the feed trying to find the post from the group, because there are a lot of people in our community that really enjoy interacting with people in there that have made friendships and everything. But with Facebook, you're constantly, like I said earlier, battling with the algorithm. So that is one of the things that I kind of told people. I was like, well, when you open the app, you're just going to see all of the posts from the community and you're not going to miss anything. You're not going to have to go searching for posts. And it's just nice to have, everything in one spot. So yeah, I don't know. It's been a little bit, I've had a little bit of pushback actually, which is ridiculous because my app is only $2 a month. So just be patient and just know that there are going to be people who don't want to pay for your community, and that's okay. The people that want to be there are going to join your app. They're going to pay your fee, and they're going to recognize that there is a lot of hard work that goes into running a community like this. So a small ask like $2, $5, $10, whatever your community is going to end up being. If someone doesn't want to pay that, that's fine. They don't have to join. They're just going to miss out on all the cool stuff that you have to offer. So that's kind of how I posed it to people. I was like, well, if you want to be a part of this, you can, but it's going to cost you $2. And that's not that much to ask, I don't think so.
No, definitely. I think it's very reasonable. And this all goes back to who your people are and who they are and who they aren't. Not everyone is going to be the right kind of person for your community. And we actually spoke about this on the podcast. Erika was on one of our episodes, and you were mentioning that some of your content that did really well in your Facebook group, in particular cats, and I know you've got a cat in front of you right now,
yeah.
You moved that to your disciple community because you knew that your members liked that content. So if they wanted it, they had to come into that community to come and see it. So that's something I think is really important, is leveraging what's doing well. What do people want? Put it inside your disciple community or wherever your community is to reel them in. So everyone loves cat photos, right?
Well, exactly. I mean, my cat was photobombing this whole time. Her name's Amber, by the way, if you guys wanted to know. So it's her birthday tomorrow.
I was going to say to you, that is one of the skills of being a community manager, is being able to multitask and having a cat walk across your desk as you're doing a panel discussion on a live event. I mean, it's one of the best skills to have, right?
Definitely
okay.
agree.
We have come to the end of our time for now, but everyone that did ask a question will be in the running to win that strategy session with Marsha. So don't worry if we didn't answer your question. We'll try and get your questions answered inside the collective. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us today on this panel. And I'm going to hand it back over to Nicolette.
Great, amazing. Thank you so much to all of you. Honestly, that was super interesting and super insightful. And I can't wait to actually implement some of these tips into the collective, and hopefully things get shaken up for us there. To move on to our next segment, I'm going to go backwards a quick minute and hop onto our chat with our CEO and founder, Benji. So Benji, I'm going to spotlight your video. If you're ready to come in and give us a good chat, please come in. Oh, there we go. Go for it. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, or afternoon, evening, or morning, wherever in the world you are. Sorry about earlier, I got the wrong link. I'm just going to start off by saying some thank yous. Thank yous, first of all, to everyone for joining the second Collective Harvest. It's really, really important to us, these events. They mean an awful lot to us, and I really hope everyone who's attending is getting some real value, information, learnings from it. I'd also really like to thank Nicolette and Valentina, one for the amazing work they do putting on our harvest events, but also the work they do every day in the collective. It's inspiring for everyone in the Disciple team to see what they do. Everyone at Disciple learns a huge amount from the collective. So thank you to Nicolette and Valentina. I also want to say some thanks to the product team. So we're about to take you through some of the things we've been building here at Disciple, and everything that we build comes out of the product team. It involves the entire company, but they work really hard towards these events alongside the engineers who take their work and turn it into something that's usable. So thank you to everyone in the engineering and product team. That's Reese, one of the product managers, Mike, the designer, Miles, product manager, Fry, the product manager, and our new head of product, Alec, who joined us about 6 weeks ago and is leading the product team and has amazing ideas and a great vision for where he wants to take the product in the coming months and years. So what I'd like to talk to you about today briefly is a bit about the thinking that drives us here at Disciple. We think the world we're in, that all of us are in, both Disciple and the amazing hosts we work with, is in a state of rapid change all the time. This ecosystem we're all part of is growing rapidly and changing so fast. If you blink, you miss it. So we spend a lot of time here at Disciple making sure that we are reading the news, reading blogs, making sure we're on the pulse of what's going on in the world of community and creators, so that we can evolve our product. If we blink, we will go way off track in terms of what we're building for you, our hosts. So I just want to take you through a bit of what we've been seeing over the last 3 months. There's an idea that I talk about a lot at the moment internally at Disciple, and try and spread this message around the world, which is that the creator economy is growing up and they're leaving home. So what do I mean by that? The creator economy was created by social media platforms, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. That was creator economy version 1. And for a long time, the idea of a creator has been defined by what we now call an influencer. It is a creator stroke influencer was somebody who had a natural ability to build attention on social media platforms. And if I was going to be critical, I would say what it really was. And when looking back, creator stroke influencers in the first stage of the creator economy were effectively gig economy workers for Facebook or YouTube. They worked for those platforms on a ad hoc basis, like a Uber driver works on an ad hoc basis for Uber. They would generate content, and some of them would get very, very wealthy from it. But the vast majority was simply driving engagement for those platforms as they moved from being $1 billion businesses to $10 billion businesses to now the social media economy is worth over $1.5 trillion. But things are changing, and they're changing rapidly. And a creator no longer means an influencer, because, as I say, the creator economy is growing up and leaving home. And by home, I mean the social media platforms. To me today, a creator equals somebody building their own business through a combination of community, great content, and a unique purpose, and some asset that or product that their community wants to pay for. So a combination of community and commerce is is the next stage of the creator economy. And this is creating fundamental changes, because these new creators, these new community hosts, these owners of community-led businesses are no longer wanting to be the servants of social media platforms. They're using social media platforms to grow their businesses. They're using social media platforms to market and build awareness, with the ultimate goal of taking that awareness, that loyalty, that trust that they build on social media, and converting it into an audience on their own platform, where they can establish their own business for their own terms, and where they keep all the value they generate to the amazing things they create. And this is really driving our strategy and our thinking at Disciple. When we set out with Disciple, we wanted to build a great community platform for hosts like you. Our vision is expanding rapidly, and today we think in terms of our product in three areas: grow, engage, and convert. Because we really want to build a tool that community-led businesses can run their businesses on from end to end. So the grow part is we want to build tools that can help you, our hosts, build awareness, run campaigns on social media, run your social channels to build an audience, build awareness, and grow the followers, fans, community members that you have on social media, and then drive those to your own platform. Engage. Once those members get to your community platform, we will continue building, hopefully, the best products in the world for building an amazing community, a thriving community on. We'll always have that as our key focus. And then lastly, convert. Once you've built that awareness on social media, you have a brand that the world's aware of. You've driven those members to your own community platform. We want to build the tools for you to convert. And by convert, we really mean converting that community into whatever purpose you had when you started your community. That might mean generating revenue through subscriptions. It might mean generating insights through analytics, or it might simply be about creating the change that you want to see in the world. And that's what we're all about here at Disciple, is trying to build that today, is build that end-to-end platform to allow hosts to build really amazing independent businesses, because we all wake up here at Disciple so driven and inspired by seeing what our hosts are doing. We never imagined 2 years ago that we'd be seeing such a huge diversity of communities, some generating great returns for their owners and generating amazing revenues, and some just creating amazing movements and creating amazing change. So that's a core tenet, and you're going to hear that a lot in Harvests of the Future, where we're talking through the product, and we're talking in terms of what we're building to help you grow your audience, engage that audience in your own community, and then convert that audience into engagement into some value that you see. It's an amazing time for all of us to be in this space. It's an amazing time for us at Disciple to be working on what we're working on, and you as hosts are part of a global movement that's taking place. I saw a statistic the other day that the fastest growing sector of the US economy is now the creator economy. It's the fastest growing part of SMEs, small businesses globally. And it's really been given a shot in the arm by COVID. So all over the world, people have gone home, they spent the time, they've needed to connect through communities. They haven't wanted to do that in the noise and mistrust that you see on social media. So there's been huge growth of citizens around the world finding purpose and connection to independent communities. And the hosts of those communities are realizing that they have great businesses that they've created with their communities. So it's an amazing time to be part of this. And I'm now going to hand you over to the product team, where they're going to take you through some of the things they've been working on the last 3 months.
Thank you, Nicolette and Benji. The creator economy sure is on the rise. It's really exciting to see the role this plays, and especially what we're doing here at Disciple. Firstly, let me introduce myself. My name is Reese, and I'm a product manager here at Disciple. Now comes the moment where we get to show you all what we have been working on. Today, we're going to show you off some brand new features and some exciting product changes. Now, let's just dive straight into this, because we actually have a ton to show you today. Since the last harvest, we've focused mainly on features and changes that help you better discover or engage members. So you'll see that theme generally running through almost everything we're about to talk about today. Starting with Member Directory. We are committed to creating the best communities for engagement and for member interaction. We truly believe that the Member Directory is going to bring your community together in new ways. Members can be disconnected and unaware of each other, even within smaller communities. This issue is amplified even further once a community grows and becomes larger. The ideal experience is to be able to feel and see, and you want to see and feel connected with every member of a community. The Member Directory will allow you to see, discover, and search all your community members from a single location. Opening up members to each other will encourage and create the relationships that really make a community thrive. You can discover the members that relate to yourself the most with advanced filtration based on profile fields, whether they are new to a community or their associated groups. This feature doesn't just benefit your members' lives, but also yours as a host, giving you the direct insight into who your members are and allow you to create that direct connection between yourself and your community. So we've spoken about discovering members, but what about people actually discovering your community? This is where search engine optimization comes into play. Another feature that we're really proud to be showing off to you today. There are many different ways to share your community to the outside world. Of course, we all want to reach as far and as wide and to as many people as possible, but sometimes figuring out what avenue to go down can be difficult and expensive. Introducing search engine optimization, a way in which your community can be searchable and discoverable on the open web, taking advantage of SEO to really drive organic traffic to your community. Optimizing your web communities for search means that members of the public can discover your posts and gain an insight into your content. This is great for an open, growing community, but we understand that some of you want your privacy and may not actually want to be discoverable. Therefore, we have given you the option to control this yourself within the console. If you want the privacy, then you can choose to turn this feature off and everything is disabled in the background. All your content and your community will remain private. As you will be aware, privacy and security is something that we take very seriously at Disciple. Now, let me introduce you to Miles, a product manager at Disciple, who is here to talk to you today about a feature that will make our platform as secure as possible.
Thank you, Reese. I'm really excited to be speaking to you all for the first time at one of our events, and I'm going to talk through a few more of the updates that we've been working on as a team. Now, as you may know, we released a login change for console users last week, and the technical term for that is multi-factor authentication. All that means is that when you log in, you're asked to verify your identity in more than one way. So instead of just a password, we also now ask you to provide a code, which by default will send to your email. I wanted to talk to you about MFA here today because I know that this increases the time it takes you to log in, and because we've made it mandatory to use and not optional. Now, we've done this because it's one of the most impactful ways you can increase the security of all of your community settings, content, and most critically, your member data. So we hope it's clear why we've implemented it in this way. And as ever, we welcome any feedback you've got on that via the collective. Now, let's jump straight back into announcements. We've got a few more features to show you today. Introducing reactivation email, a way for you to bring inactive members back to your community. Every community can have inactive members, and we wanted to make it as easy as possible to bring these members back and get them re-engaging again. So now, the console alerts you when you have inactive members, and it lets you send a customized and action-focused email to them. This makes re-engaging your members as easy and simple as possible. Now, I am super excited to talk to you about customizable badges. This builds on some of the features that we announced at the last harvest, but it gives you more control to help drive the goals you want to achieve. With badges, we want to give you a way to recognize and reward your members and encourage the type of actions and behaviors you want to see from them. But we also wanted to keep it simple to set up and make the feature available to you as soon as possible. Because of this, you'll recognize the way that they look, because they follow the same design principles that we've used for the new member and group admin badges, and we launched them at the last harvest. Let's dive into how they look and work a little bit more. As a community manager myself, I know your lives are difficult and busy enough. So we're really keen to keep badges easy for you to set up and to use, but we also want them to be flexible, so they're useful to as many of you as possible. We've made badges with just 3 elements: a name that you can set, an icon that you can pick from over 400 pre-designed ones, and a description, again, written by you. We chose to use pre-designed icons to begin with so that everyone can take advantage of badges, not just those of you with a designer on hand. And only the badge description is a mandatory field. You can pick whether you want to use a name, an icon, or both. So they're flexible enough to work in many situations and many styles. And to get a badge, a member has to be given it by you, the host. We've built a couple of ways for you to do that in the console, either one by one or in bulk via the member list, using all the searching and filtering options that already has. Now, we know that badges often go hand in hand with gamification. That works for some communities, not for others. We've kept badges simple, so things will only get competitive if you want them to. How could badges work for you and your community though? Here's 4 examples, showcasing different uses to get you thinking. Firstly, you can use them to show status or recognize the kind of behaviors you want members to model or to do more. You could recognize the really helpful or friendly members, perhaps. Secondly, you can use them to highlight who knows their stuff, flag up knowledge or expertise in a particular area. This might help newer members know who's a real expert in a particular topic. Third, you could use them to record achievements or events. Who went to a meetup? Who passed a course or who hit a milestone? And lastly, use them to share useful information that you want members to see. Maybe someone speaks a different language, or maybe someone subscribed to your app and you want to encourage other people to do the same thing. Okay, now, so you don't get totally sick of the sound of my voice, I'm going to hand you back to Reese, and he can finish off the product update.
Thank you, Miles. I must say that I am particularly excited to start publicly using badges. We just want to finish off today by quickly mentioning a few other changes coming to the platform. Firstly, the redesigned group page. This new look makes groups more engaging and will help you give each one a real sense of what it's about. It makes important information like name more prominent, while also allowing you to display header and cover images for each group. You can actually start uploading your new header images in the console right now. So your groups will look their best when this change comes to web community in about a week's time. Secondly, we have been listening to feedback about the invite system that we have in the console, and we have made some changes to make this even more powerful. Now you can invite members by creating customized shareable links, where you can set things such as expiry dates, usage limits, link name, and also you can determine automatic group joining. We hope these changes, along with what we've already mentioned, have you as excited as we are about the future of the Disciple platform. With the introduction of member directory, search engine optimization, multi-factor authentication, reactivation email, badges, redesigned group page, and configurable invite links. Now, I think that we can all agree that this is a feature-filled event, and we're so excited to get these features in all of our customers' hands. If you want to find out more, please dive into the collective, where we'll actually be posting further information into the Disciple News and Events group. Make sure to become a member if you're not already. Also, contact your customer success manager to find out any more information about any of these features. Then hold tight, as everything will be ready in your web community in the coming days. We also want you to know we're working really hard to make features like member directory and badges available on iOS and Android as soon as possible. That will take a little longer, but they will be available as soon as on these platforms through the course of September. Now, I've just seen the time, and I actually think we have time to probably squeeze in one more thing that is coming very soon. I don't think we can actually keep this a secret any longer. Introducing RTMP live streaming. Now, we know that our hosts have waited a long time for this, and we just wanted you to know that this is coming very soon. I can see the chat is starting to explode a little bit right now, what is excellent to see. For those of you who don't know what this is, RTMP live streaming, we allow you to do things such as connecting to an external hardware like cameras, create multiple streams from multiple sources, and it will allow you to have 2 or more people on your stream at the same time. RTMP will give you the foundations to create the professional streaming setup you have always wanted. We will be sharing more information soon about release dates, functionality, and a beta program, so please keep an eye out for any further announcements. Now, back to you, Valentina.
Wow, I don't know if I can really beat what you've just said, Reese. I can see the chat and people are just going crazy. Someone said it was like it was Christmas. I mean, all the features that you've released today are just incredible. And that was really just the icing on the cake. So as Reese mentioned, check in the news and events group in the collective. There'll be more information there and obviously updates on everything going forward, especially with RTMP live streaming. But I have got somebody joining me right now, and she is a rock star host and member of the collective. So I'd like to welcome up to the stage, Virginia.
Hey, oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
I thought
it's Christmas.
I'm so glad that you are excited. I'm sure you're echoing that excitement for everyone else that's currently in the chat. We're going to do a little segment right now, which is our new customer spotlight, which is 5 minutes with you. And I've actually got Nicolette, who's got a timer, who's going to count the 5 minutes. She may interrupt us. I'm not sure. But I'm going to ask you 5 rapid fire questions to find out a bit more about you and your Disciple community. So are you ready, Virginia?
I'm ready.
Okay, I think Nicolette is also ready. So let's get started with the first question. So what is Body Soul and who is it for?
Okay, Body Soul is a collective of soulpreneurs who come to have a free-spirited, supportive space that's less noisy, more easeful, and it's for them who want to rejuvenate, learn, and grow.
Perfect. Why did you choose Disciple over another community platform?
Oh my gosh. Well, seriously, I loved the community there, and I honestly was looking at a lot of different platforms, and at the time the live video was huge for me. I grew my platform originally on Facebook with live video. The groups, the layout of the groups is so beautiful. And I love the layout of how the groups are at the top and they scroll by. I love the customization. And so the reasons I came in 2 years ago was because you guys were on the forefront of it. And the reason why I stay is because of the customizations, the layout. You're always growing and you're always listening to the feedback for us. And you're just awesome people. So
thank you very much. Okay. This is a kind of a fun question. So if you could have any celebrity join your community, who would it be?
Okay, it's a tie between Reese Witherspoon and Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh.
So Reese Witherspoon, because she is like all for, women, and like her essence is just so fun. She would just be so fun in there. I know she wouldn't like she'd just be amazing. And then Gwyneth Paltrow because she has goop and I love goop. So
when you mention Reese Witherspoon, I just think of Legally Blonde, and it kind of ties in with the theme for this harvest with everyone wearing pink. Okay, next question. So
Yes.
Time. What's your favorite Disciple feature? I know you mentioned a few earlier, but just pick one.
Okay, it's really, really hard. I picked this because it's unique. I like the buttons. Like, I like that when you're doing a post, I don't have to have a stupid, ugly link. I can have a button, and the button takes me to wherever it wants to go. So my button on a post can take to like the folder or a meditation that I'm doing, or outside of the app, and it can show up inside of the app. I mean, the button is so unique that I really like the button.
Yeah, so versatile. Okay, last question. What's your biggest community achievement to date?
Okay. And this one is a tie as well. It's first of all, I love my stats when it comes to push notifications. I have a 75% push notification. And I pride that on the fact that I don't bombard people, and they love receiving my daily messages. I do daily inspirations in the mornings for US, in the afternoons for UK, but I'm proud of that. And then also just my tenacity to be able to stick with it and love on it and stay as it evolves, because really I knew what I wanted to create, but it's evolved so much over time that it could have been easy for me to give up, but I didn't. So I'm proud of that.
Great. Well, that's all my questions. I don't know how much time we have left, but I'm going to throw in another question, because why not? How can people join your community?
They can go to hello.bodysoul.app and just get in. I mean, it's free. We have some paid things in there, but for the most part, it's free. And I invite all people who want to learn more about their soul and connect it with their businesses.
Perfect. And I see Effa shared the link in the chat just right on time. Well, I don't know how much time we've got left, Nicolette. Are we just really
good?
How do we
just
do?
Under a minute. We just got just under a minute. So we've done really well in terms of time. Well done.
Wow, I am so impressed. I mean, community managers are just multi-skilled with so many different things. And
I was ready.
No, I was wrong. Here it is.
Well, thank you so much, Virginia, for joining us here at The Harvest, sharing a little bit about you, your community, and I'm so excited that you're excited about everything that we are releasing. And yeah, what's next? I don't know. Back to you,
pretty amazing. I don't know where we go from here. All of that was pretty epic. So thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, both. Now to jump into our next section. So we've been super hard at work, obviously, as we always are, to ensure that everything we offer you is at the top of its game. So I've got two great updates to share with you today. Firstly, the community building course has had the revamp of every course creator's dream. We released version 1 at the end of last year, and I'm proud to say that we've taken on board every drop of feedback you've had for us to bring you this new version, which has been super improved. So to run you through what to expect, Module 1 will be based on getting you set up, which includes the section on community strategy with the 7 Ps. I won't reveal what all the Ps are, but to tantalize your taste buds, we're talking about aspects such as your people and your policies. A lot of the things that we kind of mentioned in the community-based marketing section as well. It also includes a deep walk through the console and community view and how to update your branding and more. Module 2 focuses on content with details like a content calendar template, posting and scheduling, uploading and creating content, setting folders up as groups, deep linking, and all of that good stuff. Module 3 hones in on growing your community and inviting members, including how to do referrals. Module 4 goes into detail about onboarding, covering essentials such as the member journey, profile fields, welcome email, and a get started immersive wall like you'd find in the collective, which we know has been a fan favorite. Module 5 covers engaging and conversing with your members, which means tagging, member lists, member directory, messaging, notifying, badges, live streaming, the whole shebang. Module 6 tells us about events and just all the bog standard stuff there. And finally, Module 7 is all about creating that ROI and how to monetize your community. So this is a totally new module, which includes things like subscriptions, premium groups, folders, and running your own online courses. So yeah, most of these changes have actually already been deployed in the collective, with the rest following over the coming days. So head in and start scrubbing up on your luggage. Next, we have the flashy and ever so generous referral program. As we like to say, sharing is caring. This time round, we're offering a mighty package for those that are keen to spread the good news of Disciple. To run you through the basics, for every successful mobile app customer you refer, you'll receive a whopping $1,000 in cash, a personalized one-to-one community masterclass with a community expert like somebody such as myself, and your referred friend will also receive a delightful 20% discount off their first year. Find out more by heading to the Disciple website and searching for a button called Refer and Get Rewards. So yeah, get rewarding. Next on the list, we're bringing back a goodie. This is the Pitch Palace, but a Battle Royale edition. That means we've made some tweaks. So our new format goes like this. Pitch an idea in the collective in the comments of a post that we've just shared in the news and events group. This has to be an event for a completely new community and why you think that you deserve basically a free community for an entire year. This needs to be done by this Friday, the 27th, and where the 3 best ideas will be chosen to move on to the next round and enter something new called Pitch Palace Live the following week on the 1st of September. Pitch Palace Live will be broadcasted live where you'll pitch your idea to a panel of judges and fellow community members can come and support and choose the winner as well. Our lovely judges are the ever-ruling founder and CEO of Disciple, Benji, Wade Saxton, collective super member, longtime Disciple customer and founder of the bustling community Smoke and Bacon, and our brilliant Samantha Andrews, customer success manager here at Disciple. To run you through the rules of the live pitching, you'll need to state your name, the name of your community and the industry that it's in. You need to pitch your idea in 3 minutes. If you go over, the Palace can interrupt you, but we won't interrupt your initial pitch. You'll have to do a Q&A where you don't have to answer all the questions, but not answering may or may not affect the outcome of you winning. And you may have an advocate to be on hand to answer any questions that you can't answer yourself. And the Pitch Palace winner will be chosen during the event and announced in the event, in the collective, and across all of our social channels as well. So go on and get pitching. And that's it for this time, folks. I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who joined us here today. We love sharing what we're working on and hearing from amazing customers and industry experts. So please join us to continue the conversation inside the collective. And don't forget to head to the Pitch Palace in the news and events group inside the collective for your initial pitch. Ooh. If you'd like to contact or chat to somebody from the Disciple team, you can contact our team if you just head to our website, which is justdisciplemedia.com, super simple, or join the collective and find any of us with our name followed by From Disciple afterwards. And that's it. Have an amazing rest of your morning, day, evening, afternoon, wherever you're at, and we'll see you at the next harvest. Bye.